All right, so if people join us, whatever, we'll just keep rolling. All right, so hopefully y'all saw that the AP test will now be administered online. You saw the date and the time. Any questions about that? May 13th, 1 o'clock, online. I don't know yet about facilitation information. We'll get that out to y'all. We're actually, I just got a text that we're having a meeting with admin about that. So I'll be sending out that information to y'all as soon as I can. But you'll be doing it on your computers. It is one free response question, and it's the second one. So it's not poetry and it's not open-ended, it's prose. Kelsey, you were asking what that means. That just means not poetry. So it's like the passage. We've seen some that were excerpts from novels, excerpts from plays. So prose just means not poetic language. So it's not the open-ended. It's the one where it's like usually 2 big columns of text, right? Of the literature passage.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over how to do that. I'm going to try to share my screen, and if that doesn't work, please let me know. Okay, because I want y'all to be able to look at. Will it not let me share my screen if I'm recording?
Yeah, look, go to, like, hover your mouse over the screen to get the toolbar at the bottom to show up, and then it's
Yeah, I
the
got
green
that.
button.
I know, but it's not, it just says share. Hang on. Okay, let's go. Oh, I don't have, okay, hang on. Oh, who's that? Who's that?
David.
David.
David! I love him. Oh my God, David, you have like the same old bunk bed moment as you.
Why do you have a sparkly shirt?
I love David. I was
green
screen
screen
yesterday.
effect on or something.
I believe.
Shoot. All right, so David, I was just saying that the AP exam is now 1 FRQ question. It's the prose passage. So we're going to review prose prompts and how to develop an essay in response to prose. So I'm trying to figure out right now which ones I want y'all to, just making sure at a time. Like I'm going to pull up. Okay, can y'all see this serif on the Swanee?
It's black. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, y'all can see that? Whee!
Yes.
All right. So right now, I think we did this one.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, let me open up some other ones that we have not done. That's just what it let me pull up real quick. Hang on just a second. All right, so I'm gonna do a couple of things. The first thing I wanna do is make sure that y'all know how to identify the most important part of the prompt itself before we even look at any passages. So give me just a second.
Get out.
Get out. Get out of here, dog.
You too.
No, I was just making fun of you.
You too. Get out.
Both of y'all get out.
Come on.
Okay, are y'all seeing this AP Literature Prose essay prompt now?
1970? That's how old that is?
Okay,
Bro,
so
what? They had AP in 1970?
yeah, they did.
What was their thing? What was their prompt?
Okay, so let's go back to Middlemarch. Are y'all looking at what I'm seeing? Like when I highlight this, y'all can see it?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
did that one too.
We did this one. All right, so I want to just remind you real quick of these are just the prompts. This doesn't have the passage with it. I'll show you one with a passage in just a second. But I want you real quick, reading 2011, find the most important part of the prompt. Like just identify what they're asking most centrally.
Complex relationship.
Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, Kelsey. Let's look at, and by the way, complex is your dead giveaway. If the word complex is not in the, I hope y'all are writing some of this down. If the word complex is not in the prompt, they nonetheless want you to identify something complex. Whether it's there or not, they're expecting you to discuss complexity. So no one character is going to be the good guy and the other character is the bad guy. Both, if there's more than one character, they're both going to be a little bit right and a little bit wrong. Okay. So look at Kiss of the Fur Queen from 2011B. And nobody talk yet. Just look at that one and tell me what is the central task of that prompt? Like, what are you supposed to be breaking down the passage and organizing it about? Hang on. Okay, David, tell me what you think it's about.
Okinawa's experiences.
Yes. Okay. So basically, if that were the prompt, I'm gonna try to do this where y'all can see it. Okay, can y'all see this?
It looks like it says priest. Oh, never mind. It says pro.
Is it backwards?
No, it's right.
Okay.
Wait, all I see is David.
This is the passage, right?
There you go.
See that? You're looking at the prompt. Then let's say this whole passage is about this dude's experience. Then you would chunk it into preferably 4, but definitely no fewer than 3, and give me an adjective for each one. Does that make sense? That's going to be
Yes.
adjective 1, adjective 2, adjective 3, adjective 4. Sydney, those should be different.
Ha ha ha. ha.
And like, listen, it's fine if you do 3, if you have like 4 sections and you have 3 adjectives, like it's all one big thing here, but still try to break it down into 2 different paragraphs. Does that make sense?
Look at 2012.
Okay. Well, don't look at 2012 yet, David. Look over here.
Under the feet of Jesus.
Okay. For each, now here's where things get kind of,
Kiss my feet.
for each of these sections, you definitely want to have like one fingertip specific piece of evidence, but ideally you should have how many?
2 per
Ooh.
paragraph.
2 per section. Write that down somewhere because that's something that I'm afraid y'all forgot. Okay.
You can't forget that.
Yeah, no way.
Right? Okay. So you should have 8 pieces of evidence total. So in each of these, you're going to go through, you're going to do a claim. This
Shut
is
up.
evidence.
Shut up.
I love this.
What?
Are you good?
No.
Is that your mom, buddy?
Sure.
Hey, Sydney. Huh?
Yes.
Hey, Sydney.
Hey, ha ha, got her.
Okay, I'll make you the thing.
Okay.
Okay. Are we good? So for each of these, you're going to go through, you're going to do an evidence plus reasoning, and then you're going to come back and do more evidence plus reasoning. So they should still fall under the same claim. Like in each paragraph, you're saying that at the beginning of the passage, he is this adjective. That's your claim, right, Kelsey?
Yes.
Making like a face. Okay. So you're going to say, here's my first piece of evidence. Let me explain that. Finish that explanation. Here's another piece of evidence. Let me explain that. And then tie it all back. That's how it is the adjective. We'll come back to that. But I just wanted to show you that if this is your prompt, the Okinawa experience, then you're going to tell me at the beginning the experience is X. There are 2 pieces of evidence to prove that. Then it becomes more Y. Then it becomes more Z. Then it becomes more A. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's changing. What if
It's
it doesn't change though? Like
So
what was
that's-
that? What was that prompt we did whenever it like didn't change and we were all like, what?
Oh, the sisters, like the weirdo sisters. And that's kind of where Sydney runs into issues too. Like you can say that I would say that from the beginning to the end, it's going to change at least one time because it's going to be complex. So maybe you
So just use maybe like some variants of like the same adjective,
Yep,
maybe.
like a synonym. Yes. Another thing you can do is like, if you're saying that it's blank yet blank the whole time, then focus on like if you're saying it's X yet Y for the whole passage, then focus on the X in one excerpt, like in one section, and then focus on the Y in another. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Look at 2012. Sydney, tell me what's the task of 12?
Estrella's character.
Good. So they're telling you
Estella.
that her character is developing. So all you're doing is saying like at the beginning is this, then it becomes more this. Do not get bogged down in those literary devices. If you hit them, you hit them. Great. If not, oh well, no sweat. Okay, let's bump down to 2015.
The beat queen.
Yeah, David, give me the task of the prompt here.
The depiction of the impact of the environment on the 2 children.
Yes, so in its most basic form, you already know that the environment was impactful.
Impacting.
Right, so you could say significant, important, I don't know, look up a synonym for impactful. Like, obviously it was not insignificant. Does that make sense? Without even reading the passage, they're telling us that whatever we say about the environment is important. Kelsey, give me 2016.
Okay.
We did that one.
Mhm.
The complex relationship
Good,
of
so
whoever the two characters
Yep.
are, the Elizabeth,
the
whoever.
problem y'all ran into with that one is that y'all wanted to do a character analysis where you were like, let me write about this character and then let me write about that character. No, it's about what's happening to the relationship. So the relationship in the beginning, then the relationship in the next section, then the relationship in the next section, and finally the relationship.
That's gonna be hard to do for like 2 pieces of evidence per chunk. Like to do like the relationship like without seeming like you're like repeating yourself.
Well, you are repeating yourself, because if you're telling me in this whole selection, this part right here, that the relationship is tense, then both of those pieces of evidence should say tense or tension. So it's okay to repeat yourself because you're directly. Do y'all want to try one? Like with, okay, let me know if you can see what I'm seeing.
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I really don't feel like I need a lot of prose practice. I kind of just
Okay.
wanted to talk about grades and like updating and all that.
Okay. Well, then let's tackle that first, and then you can peace out, Cub Scout.
Okay.
Okay, so grades pretty much are what they are going to be unless you want to do some extra work to improve them. In
Mhm.
case
Yes.
you can, if you're like happy with what it is, I cannot give you anything that could potentially lower your grade. Like ethically, equitably, I cannot give you an assignment that could harm it. I can't.
What about AR?
Yeah.
So AR is
Aw.
totally on hold. I'm not even remotely concerned about that right now. If I'm going to be completely honest, especially for seniors,
Frankenstein.
we are now, I know, we are now pushed back to April 30th. There is a serious doubt. Now, I'm pulling this out my butt. It's not like I have any more information that I'm privy to than y'all are, but I seriously doubt that we go back at all. So the last thing on my mind is AR. Kelsey. Kelsey, had you not considered that?
So I only need one more point. So like to have. So
Okay, then Sydney, what I'll do is if you go back, I put all of the resources that I'm showing y'all today are on the on-course classroom resources. If you go back and pick one of those more recent prompts that we did not do in class, give me an outline, like give me an intro and topic sentences for each paragraph, and I'll go find that point for you somewhere. I'll probably,
Can you send like
that's a lot of work, so I'll probably boost it up a couple.
I was gonna say,
Okay,
can you
so-
send like what you'd want us to do if we want to bring up our grade?
Pick a
Like
prompt.
so I'll remember.
Pick
Okay.
a prompt from that resource I just gave you, the prose one. Don't waste your time on any other ones because we know now that it's going to be prose. So don't worry about anything else.
No reading. Wait. No, we have
Right,
to read.
so-
Oh, wait,
so
wait. Do we read for this?
Yes, it's a story.
Well, it's not. It's
I'm
a
thinking,
story.
I was thinking it was the one
Oh,
where
but
we,
No, I'm about to
Take
show
like-
you. No, not
Oh,
an
yeah, yeah,
open-ended.
yeah.
That's the
Oh,
open-ended.
great.
That's the third one. This is the second one. So
Oh.
pick one of the prompts. Oh shoot. Well, hang on. You can't really pick any prompts because you don't have the passage with
Yeah,
them.
we don't have the story.
Right.
But-
Okay. So here, let me show you this one then.
I have the packet. Can I do one from the packet?
Yes. Yes. You can do one. from the
Okay.
packet.
You have
Okay,
that
here's-
somewhere that you can like check it and stuff?
No, just email it to me. Take pictures of it. So here's what you can do, Kelsey. I'm showing you right now. This one is also on the classroom resources. It's called the crossing prose prompt. So you can do a response to this one. All I need from you, Kelsey, is an intro and the body sentence, the body paragraph topic sentences. Like, how would you outline it?
Yeah, we've done that before, I think.
Yes, if you
Not
give
this
the whole-
passage, just we've done like the outlines before.
Yes, if you give me a whole flippin' essay, I'll go and find you a bunch of points. I'll make it worth your while. I don't know how much I gotta go back and look and see what your grade looks like to see how much you need, like to go to the next letter grade. Cause I'm not gonna, like if you have a low C, a range for a C is super wide. So I'm not gonna go bump it to a B arbitrarily. Okay, so let's look at this one. Sydney, does that answer your questions?
It does. So like, I'm just gonna do that. I'll probably do like 1 or 2. I'm gonna go in and look at my grades and see like what I need. My quiz grade is what messed me up. That's
okay.
So
what I'll do, I'm about to go through this one. So if you want to hang on long enough to go through this one as an example, then you can probably outline your response right now while we're doing it together.
Is that cheating?
No. I'm telling you to do it. I'm helping you.
Okay.
Nerd.
No. All right. So this one says, in the following passage from Cormac McCarthy's novel, The Crossing, the narrator describes a dramatic experience. Read the passage carefully. Did we read this one?
No.
Okay, good. Then in a well-organized essay, show how McCarthy's techniques convey the impact of the experience on the main character. Okay, so what are they telling you from the prompt wording?
The impact of the experience.
Like it was impactful. So, you know, we know that right out of the gate. So if you want to right now, hop on over to thesaurus.com and look up some synonyms for impactful. And I'll tell you, like, one of them is going to be significant or
influential.
Influential is a good one. Okay.
Informative. Remember,
that's good. Like it changes. Okay. All right. So we are looking for natural chunks. So just looking without even reading, just literally looking at this passage, where are some natural chunks that we see?
Probably
the first paragraph.
Yeah. I mean, you have the fourth, you have 1, 2, 3 big paragraphs.
The third one starts on the left side, I think.
Yes, it does. So you probably want to split up that third paragraph into 2 and find like a good place to do that. Remember that the word but is a good transition word. You like big butts? Okay, so when you're going through this, like I might go, okay, here's one section. I'm looking for an adjective to describe the experience, like how is the main character feeling as a result of this experience? So something big has happened. What is he thinking and feeling in this moment? In this moment, the main character is, okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here.
Gassy.
He's becoming more, and I want you to word it like that because it's showing me clearly that things are evolving, right? Whereas first he was blank, now he's becoming more something else. Maybe not exactly opposite. We don't expect things to go in opposites because they're more complex and nuanced than that. It's not like bam, bam. It's these things are all kind of happening at the same time. Now he's becoming more, next he becomes da-da-da, and then by the end he is blah, blah, blah. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that roughly those are my 4 chunks that I'm going with. So before I leave you to do that analysis individually, because I don't want to like spoon feed you your ideas, let's go over how to write an intro in response to this type of prompt, right? Oh, I could type it more quickly as long as y'all can see what I'm seeing.
Yeah, type it so I can screenshot.
Can y'all see this Word doc?
No. Hold on.
Can y'all see this Word document?
Nope.
I still see the little essay thing.
I see the cross and prose.
See,
Yeah, the cross and prose.
When I read that passage, I think of like, here's the experience, but then like a character development later.
I'll be looking insane in the membrane.
Like I don't know, but then again, I haven't read it.
But okay, so that's part of the complexity though, is that you really need to be doing like both at the same time.
I see it now.
Okay, and you can do that. You can say like, because here's the deal. Did y'all hear what Sydney just said? Because it's a good question, David. She says, I feel like I need to split apart the experience and what's happening to the character. But that's kind of is that the experience is shaping his character. So even Sydney, if you have to break it apart like that within your body, say like, this is the experience, this is what's going on, then literally just give me a phrase or a sentence that says that this is shaping his character. That's fine. And then you tell me now. So if you want to break it down like that, you can do that.
No, that's not what I meant. I worded it wrong. But I'm talking about like first you have to have the experience, and then
Okay.
it's almost as if you need like later in time to know how it impacted him.
Yes. Okay. So just so you know, you're coming in after the experience. Like he is, just so you're aware that he killed a wolf. And now he's like, oh crap, I killed a wolf. What am I going to do about this? And so you've already had the experience. So the past, when it begins, it's already happened. Like the big thing has already happened. Now it's like how he's coming to terms with the fact that he killed this wolf. Okay. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what I thought he was just describing an experience.
Can y'all see what I'm typing?
Yes, in life humans.
In life, humans, we often blah blah blah.
Okay.
Okay, forget this.
I think I have this written down somewhere. I just have to look through all my stuff.
Okay. So always, 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 this first sentence is going to give you like, this is a good return on your investment because it shows that you're not just going to summarize. The first sentence right out of the gate says, oh, this student read it, got it, and applied it to life, like made me understand that it wasn't just about, you know, here's a summary. This kid killed a wolf and then he has to think about how to bury it. No, you're going, we all
Link to literature.
with gravitas of what has occurred to us and how it changes our very identities. Like if you can give me that right out of the gate, I'm like, oh, this is a top half essay. So don't shortchange this we statement. Are you good, David?
Hmm?
Your intros have not been an issue, David. It's your development of reasoning in your body paragraphs that will really come back to bite you in the butt. Kelsey, you're just gonna have to see it through. Like you have beautiful, gorgeous ideas. You just have to really stick to the process, okay?
My brain gets scrambled.
I know you do. Take your medicine. Sid, and like take it early enough to where it has time to kick in.
So is it like whenever we take the test or whatever, we're taking it at home, but like, is it a certain time that it's going to be open?
Yeah.
And then a certain time it closes?
Yep. Yep. So anticipate 40 minutes. That's what I'm saying, like practice. I'm giving you, you know, as many resources as I can. Okay, so we know that this was impactful. So right out of the gate, before we've even read the passage, we can say something like, we all experience
Remorse.
that impact our identities forever, or that haunt us into our future. Or like, that's the whole point. The prompt told you, this is something that wasn't like some fly-by-night thing that happened one time. This is gonna stick with this person for the rest of his life, and he's gonna have to come to terms with it over time. And so you say something like, you know, whether breaking up with our first crush, or like with our little boyfriend, or, you know, experiencing death for the first time. That's the point. Grab me, make me part of that human experience where I go, oh yeah, I've fallen somewhere in that spectrum before. That applies to me. I need to keep reading. Already for your reader, for your evaluator's already checking some boxes of like, yes, this student is analytical. This student is not merely summarizing. This student is analyzing how it connects to the human experience. Then you give me a simple link to literature. And that can be word for word a sentence like, many works of literature explore. Yes, remember that?
Yes.
Okay. The SOS should be one sentence through the lens of the most important concept. So you're going to summarize and say, in the excerpt from, and it's an excerpt, it's going to be an excerpt. It's not going to be the whole novel. It's not going to be the whole play. You're probably going to get an excerpt from a novel or an excerpt from a play. So don't refer to it as in the play, in the novel. You don't have the whole play or novel. It's going to be prose. So you're going to say in the excerpt from blah, 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 the character, and then you give me a summary. Don't just tell me on the surface level, he decides where to bury a wolf he has killed. No, you missed the whole point. What did the we statement have to do with that if all you're going to do in your summary is tell me the literal thin plot? Like, give me the literal thin plot, but also, you know,
link it back to like how it relates to whatever thing that you.
yes, even if you, so give me the thin plot, say something like the character, the main character has just killed a wolf and has to decide where and how he's going to bury it and what to do with the carcass that remains, but he also goes through a change or something like that. Then your thesis, I want to amend that a little bit. I want to, the SOS, if you want to keep that thin and plot only, that's fine. It's fine because you're really going to develop it more in the thesis anyway. So if that confused you, don't worry about it. I'm sorry. In the thesis, you give me the author's full name. If you didn't in the summary, right?
Mhm.
The title correctly punctuated. It's almost automatically for y'all, it's going to be underlined because it's going to be an excerpt from a
Well, if we write it on the computer, can't we italicize it?
Yes, yeah, you can. So if they give you that,
I'm going to spell everything right now.
then you give me the, like, we have to answer the question. So remember the central task of the prompt is your question. So if you're saying how impactful the experience was to the main character, then turn that into a question. How impactful was this to the main character? So then you have to answer it for me. And that's going to be where you give me those adjectives, okay? So we talked about different ways to organize this. We said adjective and adjective, didn't we say that? Adjective, yet adjective, adverb, adjective. That, what did we say? That, what was the word we used? Evolves from adjective to adjective. And this would end up being your body paragraph 1 adjective, right? Are y'all with me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then you come back to your overall thematic concept, which was what we discussed in the we statement. He does so to underscore his point that people will often undergo blah, blah, blah. Yes?
Yes.
There's your whole big introduction. Body, I'm just going to zip through this real quick because I know that some of y'all really only wanted to go over that. So you're going to give me the claim, which, let's see, evidence, reasoning, evidence, reasoning.
And what is it? Reasoning should be bigger than evidence. Is
Yeah,
that what
I'll
it
go
is?
through each of those. Your claim should explicitly include keyword from main task of prompt. So in this case, it would be, what do we say, experience
Yes.
and adjective. I'm going to add should include place on passage, keyword from main task of prompt. So in other words, put together this little formula, this little recipe, and it says, in the beginning of the passage, the experience is, give me the adjective. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's all I did. I'm just showing you those elements of a good claim. Your evidence should not be a drive-by, no drive-by quoting. David? Kelsey,
Drive-by.
Sydney, you're good. Kelsey, you got to a really good place with that. Embed your evidence into your explanation. So in other words, like start explaining to me why that evidence is important and then put what you need into that explanation. So it can be as succinct as a single word, right? Does that make sense? We've gone over
Yes.
this before. Like, take whatever evidence you want, put it up on a shelf, start explaining to me how it proves your point, and then put the words when you need it. Okay? Kelsey, are you singing?
I think our computer is lagging.
Yeah, Kelsey,
Press.
we're losing
Be on
you.
an iPhone.
Better.
Oh, we're fine.
Kelsey, we didn't hear a word you just said.
You sounded like a harmonica.
I know. Okay. This is what I was going to say. Put your device label after the word this. Y'all remember this? Some of y'all would give me the evidence and then you'd say something like, this shows, which is like, meh, it's fine. It's not great. It's not stellar writing, but that gives you an opportunity to incorporate a device label. You have to have a device label. This purposeful connotation shows that he is saddened by what has just happened to him. That's it. Okay. Okay, should be greater than claim plus evidence. Did this help you, Kelsey?
Yes.
So if your claim is one sentence and your evidence is one sentence, then David, how long at a minimum should your reasoning be?
2 sentences.
David, this is you all day, every day. You have gorgeous ideas. You think they're so obvious that they don't deserve explanation. You have to explain them. If you've ever turned on over explanation before, make it May 13th for the love of God, David. Okay, you're going to do the same thing again down here. The reason I have this little note down here is because really you just need
7 more
to
times.
restate the adjective to make it clear. Hey, can y'all see my screen if I do this? Can y'all see this?
See what?
It's a new essay. Can you see it?
No.
A Chick-fil-A essay? Okay, hang on.
I just see the word document.
No. Chick-fil-A.
All right, hang on. All right, I'm gonna share it with you because I want you to show what I want you to see what my son and I have been working on. Okay.
Chick-fil-A essay.
Bro, is this really what y'all been doing over
Yes.
the quarantine?
Claim and evidence and
Y'all-
reasoning. So the thesis is like, what's the best place to eat in the food court in the mall? And we wrote that Chick-fil-A is the best place to eat in the food court. Okay, so you see his claims. It has good customer service. Here's your evidence. There's your reasoning. It's all color-coded, right? Here's what you have to do. And Kelsey, this is what for you feels very redundant. You have to come back to the main idea. This is why Chick-fil-A is the best option. This is why Chick-fil-A is the best choice. This is another reason that Chick-fil-A is the best
I
restaurant.
hate doing that. Like I know it's
I know
right
you
once
do.
I do it, but I feel like it's wrong because like it feels like I've already said that.
But if it's your main idea, you need to say it and say it and say it and say it again. So in this case, come back to your adjective. And if your adjective is connected, Sydney, to like how much this experience is impacting him, come back to that and tell me, right? How many times are you going to do this?
4.
4. So that means, David, 8 rounds of evidence and reasoning. You don't have to
Oh Lord. And
evidence
45
that's gonna,
minutes?
My boy.
you don't have to find
Oh,
evidence
Lord.
that's gonna rock the world and like be brand new and fresh and unique. In fact, that's probably gonna be wrong. If it's too unique, it's like, who is this? What are you doing? Stop. You're probably wrong.
Mom.
But just find the
Mom.
easy, obvious stuff and explain the hell out of it. Okay? As if I don't understand how words work. Do y'all want to talk about the conclusion real quick?
Conclusion, I think that I just need to start focusing the amount of time that I have. I need to start practicing bodies and introduction at the most. If my conclusion isn't all that, oh well.
I'm probably
I
not
don't
going to
disagree with that at all. I'm going to go and add to the classroom resources that sort of menu that we talked about of the conclusion ideas. Remember we talked about that? Let me go and find that. And I'm gonna add that just as a resource. Conclusion info ideas, boom, added. And I'll pull this real quick from there. I gotta kind of bounce around to share it, okay. Okay, and who texted me? Jackson. What did I miss? I'm sorry, I was at Lowe's. He's so cute. I love him.
Lowe's.
Yeah. Okay, sharing again. This.
Stop.
Okay, can y'all see the conclusion stuff?
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like now that we've explored how impactful an experience is on shaping our identities in the future, maybe a new question would be like, how do you
Sick.
change that? Like, you know, nature versus nurture kind of a thing. If it's our experiences that make us who we are, then what else adds to that? Or how would we be different if we didn't have that experience? What would we have gained or lost? And again, you almost want to make it sound like even if this were a bad thing, that he's better off for having experienced it. That adds to the complexity. The next option is something where it's like, well, it felt like it was off topic. I really wanted to talk about like, this is why animal rights activists are da-da-da. And it's like, well, that didn't fit into the body, but maybe you can bring it up into the conclusion. Don't talk about Tiger King. I know as soon as I said,
I didn't see all kind of like
as soon as I said animal rights, they're like, Carol Baskin, Big Cat Rescue. Number 3, the central I would avoid number 3. That was when we were doing the print analyses, the visual ad analyses. I would avoid that. Number 4 is like, did it work? Like, how did the way that McCarthy wrote it, did it have the effect on you as a reader that it was meant to
Work.
Like, did it make you understand the sociological message more? And the whole point is to be like, yeah, it really did. Wow. Number 5, if there's any irony, which I don't know, in the passage, he has a horse. So maybe there's some irony about the fact that like,
Jules.
didn't want anything to happen to his horse, but he did something to a wolf. 6, what are you learning about humanity given that this text exists at all? Like Cormac McCarthy,
You know how to write.
he saw like some flaw in, or like a gap in the way that humans behave that made him feel obligated to write this passage with this message, David? Does that make sense? So
Yes.
what are we learning about human nature by the fact that that has to exist at all? Like think of the movie WALL-E.
Wally.
Wow. Eve. Okay. That movie had a very heavy-handed message. And what was the takeaway? What are humans supposed to do? Or
We're fat slobs. And we
right, but what are we
trash the
supposed to
planet.
change? Like, what's the charge at the end of that movie? So get out there and
Environmental.
Plant some plants and pick up trash.
so what are we saying about humanity that we have to make a movie to tell us to take care of the environment? What are we
We're
saying?
obviously not doing
We're
something
fat
right.
slobs.
So, but like that's so obvious, it's embedded in the message, but unless you say it, you're not getting credit for it. Does that make sense? You have to say that, and the conclusion is a great place to like wrap it up, tie a nice big bow on it. Why do we even need something to tell us to respect animal life? Okay. And then 7, David, I would not do this if I were you.
No, wow.
You're just, your wording is so bombastic. You're like, oh, wow, gosh.
The bombastic.
Yeah, Mr. Bombastic,
Bombastic.
Mr. Romantic. Anyway, your wording is just too obnoxious for number 7. If
Oh.
you dial it down, feel free. The whole point is to be like, wow, you know, stories just happen upon a page. There's real craftsmanship that goes into this and making sure that it's effective and communicates a simple message. So if you can't do that well, don't do it at all. Okay. Questions?
I don't think so.
It's not.
Okay.
This helped though. I took a lot of screenshots.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'm recording it, so I'm gonna, I don't know how I'll post it or share it, but I'm gonna try to do that, okay?
All right. Thanks, Miss Southall.
You're welcome. Y'all let me know if you need anything. We'll probably do another check-in right before just to kind of hit high points of prose analysis. Oh, I wanted to make sure I said this. This is big. Listen, the reason they picked prose is because prose is hard. Prose ties together all the tasks, okay? So in multiple choice, you have 5 passages, and in multiple choice, you're seeing how the small connects to the big idea. That's the same thing that you're doing in the writing section, except this time you're writing it instead of just filling in some bubbles. This is gone now. No more multiple choice. Over here, you had 3 prompts, and they're going, which one is going to give us the most bang for our buck? Well, the open-ended, I compare it to like if you go to an audition for a play, and you've memorized this monologue. Well, you can be a really freaking awesome memorizer. You can perfect a monologue all day. You can know that no matter what, you're going to write about Dewey Dell from As I Lay Dying. But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily a good literary analyst. That just means that you've written one bomb
A good memorizer.
that you memorize, and you're coming in and you're just spitting it out. So that one's gone. And they're going, okay, prose or poetry? There's a good chance that you may never engage with prose ever again. Like you may just sit there and be like, I'm never going to read poetry, and you may not get it. And I'll be honest, the scores on poetry are always higher than prose. And I'll tell you why. I think, here's my conjecture.
They gypped us, bro.
They do. They did. Y'all get intimidated by poetry. So what do? You're intimidated, you freak out, you engage with it more, you think everything's figurative, you think it's all literary texts, and so you write it that way, which is good. You end up scoring better. So what you're left with is prose. The biggest mistake you can make is going into prose thinking that it does not have the same literary devices with the same effects as poetry. You have to label your literary devices. You have to. That's going to separate the men from the boys in these essays, really. Those thematic we statements, but I'm not worried about that from y'all. Everything else that they're going to use to separate the men from the boys, I'm like, they got this. They're fine. They're going to knock it out of the park. If you treat prose as different from poetry, you're not going to do well. You have to label literary devices. The best place to put that is immediately after your evidence. When you drop evidence, tell me what that evidence is. Like, give me a device label somewhere really quickly, okay? So make sure that you understand that it is just like poetry, okay?
Okay.
All right, and if you have any questions, send me a remind and I'll try to do maybe a video about it or something, okay?
All right.
Wow. Thanks, Miss
Alrighty.
Southall.
Y'all keep in touch.
Okay.
See you, Miss Southall.
Bye.